The Inspectorate of Government was established in 1986 with a constitutional mandate to fight corruption, provide ombudsman services to Ugandans, and to enforce the Leadership Code of Conduct.
Focus for this institution has been the anti-corruption, that is, investigate and prosecute those that are corrupt, so that the other two roles have been not, I would not say subsidiary, but I think they are supportive of that role of curbing corruption. They each have a way that they work. So the main focus, and this institution is known as anti-corruption mostly. The other role, the administration, the enforcing or ensuring strict adherence to the rule of law, which is the ombudsman role, is hardly ever talked about. But it is also a very important role of the Inspectorate of Government. We have arrangements to collaborate with the Office of the Auditor General, the Public Procurement and Disposal of Public Assets Authority, the Uganda Revenue Authority, the Directorate of Public Prosecutions. We also collaborate with the Uganda Police to see that we don't have uncoordinated work. For instance, if the police is investigating a matter of corruption, we should not in the Inspectorate of Government be investigating the same.
The Inspectorate of Government has over the years continued to strengthen its capacity and adopted a two-pronged anti-corruption strategy of enforcement and prevention. Enforcement measures against corruption have included the creation of a Special Investigations Directorate, which has successfully detected, investigated, and prosecuted many high-impact cases. These include the 74-kilometer Mukono-Katosi Road case, in which a fraudulent company was awarded the contract to tarmac the road and later illegally subcontracted the work to another company. The contract was cancelled and government saved 12 billion shillings. Some of the perpetrators of the fraud were prosecuted and convicted. Another case involving 780 million shillings in the Rural Electrification Agency has been investigated and concluded. All the funds are to be recovered. Still under prosecution is a case involving 5 suspects in the misappropriation of about 1.1 billion shillings in the Ministry of Local Government. As a result of these strong enforcement measures, the Inspectorate of Government has over the past 3 years recovered about 2 billion shillings, prevented loss of over 100 billion shillings, and caused about 100 public officials to leave office due to various corruption-related malpractices. Local leaders and the general public have been active in bringing some of these corruption cases to the attention of the IGG, like the case of misappropriation of royalties from Bujagali Power Project by the Chief Administrative Officer of Buikwe and Sub-County Chief of Wakisi.
Waliwo sente eza royalties zali over $2 million plus ngesente zisharingibwa district ne sub-county ye Wakisi. Kankati wenalabanga sente ezo tezigenze bulungi kugombolola, tezizze bulungi ku district, nembuuza kaawo nga tewali explanation nnungi, nesalawo nenzije wa IGG asobole okunoonyereza sente zino tulabe engeri gye zitambulamu n'engeri gye zikozesebwamu. Abagenda okizuula nga waliwo SARS sub-county chief ow'eggombola ye Wakisi ng'alina sente z'ataakozesa bulungi nga ziri over 40 million. Kankati ate kyagenda okuzuulwa nga ne kaawo owa Buikwe district former kaawo nga naye yakozesa over 50 million shillings nga naye azikozeseza bubi. Era ofisi ya IGG njebaza kubanga yalwana nnyo okulaba nga sente ezo bazizaawo era bazisasula.
Following the poor performance of the Northern Uganda Social Action Fund, NUSAF 1, in which billions of shillings were lost in shoddy works and poor accountability, The Inspectorate of Government was asked to support NUSAF 2 by implementing a special component of transparency, accountability and anti-corruption, TAC.
Through the three critical aspects of TAC, preemptive measures, quick detection and quick fixing, and making it participatory, we've been able to overwhelm anybody out there who wanted to be corrupt. We've been able to save the resources, and we have very clear achievements.
The success of the transparency, accountability and anti-corruption component of NUSAF 2 was made possible because of strong community participation through the training of community monitoring groups, CMGs, by the Inspectorate of Government to be effective grassroots anti-corruption watchdogs.
We are like eyes of IGGs. They say we are small IGGs in our communities. So the building must be proportionate to the money allocated to it. So we'll continue to check on those who are on that project and to ensure that it's a very good gift given by the government to our local community.
The contribution of community monitoring groups, now involving 62,000 citizens, has been strengthened under the community responsibility to enhance transparency and accountability to enable them effectively fulfill their roles of monitoring projects and reporting their findings, identifying and reporting fraud and corruption, as well as receiving and handling project-related grievances. This has empowered community monitoring groups to engage in other government programs like Universal Primary Education, UPE, where they participate directly in teacher and pupil headcounts.
Because of the success of NUSAF 2, there are other projects where the Inspectorate of Government has been asked to come in. For instance, you have the Youth Livelihood Project, Inspectorate is on that. Then there is Dr. Deep, but the full name is Disaster Response Development Impact Program. And this time it started in Western Uganda, but it is also going to be implemented in parts of Northern Uganda, and the Inspectorate of Government is again on board to monitor how the refugee response or the displaced people's response is being implemented by government. Then the project codenamed USMID, but it is development of infrastructure in the original 7 districts in Uganda.
In Uguru, we have been able to do a number of things under that program. We worked on 5 roads. We again worked on another 12 roads. And by surprising, 12 roads we worked upon, we used the money for 10 roads, but we made a saving because of transparency and worked on more 2 roads. So now even this financial year, we have been able to work on 13 roads. But because we also made a saving, we have been able to have additional 600 meters, the Guru University Road, to make sure we extend within the same contract place. So we have been able to do much more work using the same resources. And that's what registration is all about.
We attribute our good performance to the vigilance of the IGG, but also the level of partnership and their level of involvement, because they are able to very closely monitor and work with us, and they're always quick to come in where we have concerns and we have questions and doubts about certain procedures or certain qualities.
Many complaints raised by the public relate to employment grievances handled under the Ombudsman mandate. In the past 3 years alone, 458 cases have been resolved to the satisfaction of the complainants.
In April 2017, I got an appointment as an education assistant in Amutumba district. So my friends started getting their salary immediately, but me it took a very long period of time. So I had to come here in the IGG office to help me. I went back to school. Then it was in October that very year. They called me. So they called me like today. Then tomorrow I saw a message on my phone telling me that I've got my arrears.
It was in 2012 when the DEO refused to give me school, deploy me, and then he left me out of the payroll and deleted me in 2014 after 2 years without a station where I was working. So what I did, I went to IGG for assistance, and indeed they assisted me. After their findings, they decided now to direct, or they gave a directive to CAO to redeploy me and reinstate me, and that was done. I'm now back on payroll, but I'm working in the new district of Namisendwa.
The Directorate of Ombudsman Affairs has also handled many complaints of wrongful arrests and detention by law enforcement officers and other public officers seeking bribes.
Bakwata bba wange nga nnya ogwokuna ne bamutwala ku poliisi. Bwe bamutwala ku poliisi ne bansaba emitwalo 5. Omwami baali bamuyita Mr. Okeria Amosi nga sizirina. Bwe nali sizirina ne bandagirira ku office ya IGG nti alina okuntaasa. Bwe najja ne bakwata egyo emitwalo 5 ne bagimpa ne tugenda nabo ne bamukwata ne bamuleeta ne bamutwala mu kooti. Ne bba wange ku poliisi gye yali e Kayunga ne bamuta.
In 2015, I bought land from Nakifuma, and immediately thereafter I was given the land title of the previous owner to cut off our side. And by around November 2015, Entebbe had already cleared me to have my land title from Entebbe. It took me 7 months to have this land title in Mukono, until when I got fed up, I decided to come and approach the IGG's office here in Mukono. I wrote a complaint, I was given an officer, and I recall she was called Magola, Madame Magola, who accompanied me to the land's office, and immediately we reached there, she summoned a gentleman called Mbazira. Mr. Mbazira therefore sought for the file, and within the 4 hours, I was given my land title.
In around April 2018, this year, the wheel loader and the other sets of road equipments were assigned to do some road works in Ongako sub-county. And actually all equipments were there. But on that particular day, the wheel loader was diverted from Ongako sub-county and taken to a place called Awere, and a member of the public reported this to Inspector of Government. Immediately, the regional inspector team moved to the locus and actually found a machine bush clearing on the compound of an individual. I thank the regional inspector team of Gulu for acting timely and has made people to learn that these machines are not for private use, but they are intended to help the district improve on the road network within the district.
Management of documentation for the high volume of cases has been one of the challenges faced by the Inspectorate of Government, which has now installed an electronic case management system.
It has helped in reducing the case backlog, and this has occurred in such a way that now we have easy tracking of complaints, we have quick retrieval of information, no too much paper movement. One can sit on his or her desk and do the work without wasting time of tracking files, documents here and there.
Which is the homepage for the system.
In enforcing the Leadership Code of Conduct, the introduction of a computerized online declaration system for leaders has raised declaration compliance from 76% to 95%.
Before, we used to receive manual forms, but now the leaders can submit their data using this system. The leader can submit their assets from the comfort of their homes as long as they have internet.
As part of its prevention strategy, the Inspectorate of Government has put emphasis on citizen education to raise their awareness and encourage participation in the anti-corruption struggle. Mass media sensitization enables the Inspectorate of Government to reach a big section of the population with messages of how to fight corruption and report malpractices in public service.
One of the most successful tools that we have is to get the end user beneficiary of government programs, to get involved in the implementation of government programs. And that's why media comes into play. When we sit behind a microphone, like I'm doing now, you know, I don't know how many people I'm speaking to, but as many as the people that listen to the radio where I'm sitting, which is Impact FM now, they all listen to the same message at the same time. So the media is a big partner in creating public awareness among the end-user beneficiaries of government programs. Our assessment over the last few years that we've interacted with the media more aggressively is that people have learned about the Inspectorate of Government. We receive calls, we receive messages, we get feedback, and people, and an increase in the number of complaints that are coming, where people are saying, we didn't know there is such an institution. So we think the media plays a big role.
I took 5 months without getting my salary. I heard over the radio, the IGG, the deputy IGG, was on already, I think, Sapienza. Then he was saying, in case you are a civil servant and the thing is not moving on well, come to the office. I wrote down the letter to the IGG and I went to the IGG's office. That was November. It was, I think, 18th December. I accessed my salary. The whole amount of money for the years, for the period that I worked since I joined government.
Citizens' education and participation has been given a big boost with the launch of the annual road shows and barazas, during which staff of the Inspectorate of Government and other anti-corruption partners interact directly with the citizens and local officials.
This was an opportunity for us to encourage the citizens to understand that the fight against corruption is not for the IGG alone, that they have a role to play. In fact, Article 17 of the Constitution of the Republic of Uganda enjoins citizens of Uganda to participate in the fight against corruption. But we were also able to listen to the concerns of the district leaders. And by district leaders, I mean and include both the elected leaders and the civil servants, heads of departments in particular.
Engagement with the general public and the public officials is a continuous process undertaken by the Inspectorate of Government through its 16 regional offices and headquarters in Kampala.
We intend to intensify the interaction. One is my colleague, Mr. Bamugemerere, and I have undertaken regional visits. I normally visit the local governments in Central Region, Busoga Region, and Western Region, while Mr. Bamugemerere travels to the Northern Region, West Nile, and Eastern Region. These visits usually enable us to interact again direct with the Wananchi. Every quarter, each one of us visits at least 4 districts. We will also make use of our regional offices. In our absence, what we call the regional inspectorate officers, those who head those regional offices, they interact with the Wananchi and the district leaders.
The Directorate of Education and Prevention of Corruption in the Inspectorate of Government has also developed a strong program of inculcating ethical conduct and anti-corruption attitudes, especially among young people in institutions of higher learning, through the creation of over 80 active integrity clubs countrywide.
What we do is to instill values of integrity among the youth. So ours is to groom youth of integrity. We do that through talks. We always organize talks whereby we invite people of integrity, of course, to speak to the young people and instill integrity among them. We organize debates whereby students make a lot of research. After the research, we come and share. You are challenged at the floor, and at the end of it, we go with the best. Through our research, we have been able to get cases where mothers have died because people have taken medicine away from hospitals. We have seen accidents on roads because simply somebody swindled the money that was meant for that road. So you find that in corruption, it is one person that benefits at the cost of millions of people. And this sense after the research brings about the integrity, and we say, can we groom youth who will be able to stand for justice and for truth in this country?
The Integrity Ambassadors Club has values which really attract people. Talk about integrity. When you look at them, even in their speech, the way they do things, they do not have a corrupt mind. They are so admirable. So when I looked at them in my first year, I felt like I should join these people, and that's why I joined them.
Services by the Inspectorate of Government provided through its 16 regional offices are constrained by, among other things, limited resources.
Everybody would like to see the inspectorate in their district, and the law actually provides that we can start offices in every district in Uganda, but we are not able to do that. But the expectations continue to be high. What is, what people want the inspectorate to do, we can't even do half of what they want to do. Then the other challenge is the financial resources. Sometimes we have donors giving us money, development partners. Like right now, we have had major contributions from development partners for operational funds. However, we are short-staffed. We have a staff of 450, and only about 200 of those are seasoned investigators, but they are supposed to cut across the 16 regional offices and here at the headquarters. We want to see that all the complaints handling mechanisms in the system of government, every ministry, department, agency, local government should have a place where complaints are received, so that people who do not receive the services that they're entitled to have a place to complain, so that citizens have somewhere to go at first instance and not straight to the Inspectorate of Government.
After 3 decades of service, the Inspectorate of Government is reviewing its positioning and approaches to meet the changing needs in the anti-corruption struggle, with a strong focus on enhancing citizens' participation.